Hi, my name's Nick. I'm the founder and inventor of the Rare Combinations Alcohol Content Detector. I made it specifically for the kombucha industry, and today I'm going to make a very brief video showing you how it works and how to measure a sample. So I was a kombucha brewer about 7 years ago now, and I ran into this issue of alcohol content in kombucha, and so I ended up inventing this machine that works like a breathalyzer for beverages. So the way that it works is it blows air into the sample with this tube. So here's our sample tube here. This will be screwed in with about a 20 milliliter sample. Air will blow and bubble around in the sample and then be carried up into a hole on the underside of this area of the machine, go inside of the machine and over a gas sensor. So the advantage of measuring the alcohol coming off of the liquid is that you can have stuff floating around or really turbid or sticky gross mixture, and this machine doesn't care. If there's bits of SCOBY or something floating around, this machine doesn't care, which is fantastic. So I'll show you how to do that. I have a brand new thing of kombucha. I just made a calibration curve with these samples here. You can go watch that video on the channel. But basically, you measure known alcohol standards. You don't have to buy these from me. This is just diluted vodka. That's it. You can make them yourself very easily. I tested 0.1 to 2%, and you can see that calibration curve here. And so we're going to measure our, in this case, this is a June kombucha. We're going to measure that in our machine and then enter the reading into our calculator here. So I'm just going to pour straight from the can about 20 milliliters of our liquid, and I'm going to taste it because I've been wanting to try this. Pretty good. I like it. It is room temperature, and I will tell you why it's room temperature. To use this machine, you want all of your calibration all of your calibration samples and your kombucha to be at the same temperature. Higher temperatures, more alcohol will evaporate off. And so you need to make sure you're using the same temperature for all of your samples. And what I did there was just add a couple of drops of oil. I like to use vegetable oil. And this prevents foaming. So especially if your product is very heavily carbonated, I would just shake it around just a little bit. You don't need to do a fancy degas procedure or anything like that. But just shake it around a little bit to get some carbonation out. This product is not super carbonated, so it should be okay. And so that oil will prevent any proteins from, making sticky emulsions and bubbling up into the machine, which could damage the device. So I'm going to press and hold the button at the front of this machine, and you can see air is bubbling around in the device now. You can see there's a little bit of foam, but it's not foaming all the way up to the top of the machine, which is fantastic. And hopefully you can also see that the readings on the screen are rising. So the readings on the screen are just a raw value straight from the alcohol sensor inside of the machine. And then we're going to use that value in our calculator here to find the alcohol content. So I'll take a peek at that now. It's about 635. And the temperature I'll take a note of, it's 20.4 degrees Celsius. I made this calibration curve at 19.9 degrees Celsius, so we're within spec. We want to be within about 1 degree Celsius of our calibration curve. And in fact, we are. So this is 635. So we'll put this into our calculator and see the alcohol content. So this kombucha, this June kombucha, is 0.54% alcohol. I'm not I'm not going to tattle on anybody. And, again, this is a spot checking device that you should use in tandem with GCFID lab testing. But having something in-house, you can test as much as you want. You can test shelf life. You can hold some of your cans back and test them over time. You can test batches every single day and watch as the alcohol rapidly increases at the beginning of the fermentation and then slowly goes down. And once that alcohol reaches the lowest point and the acidity is still not too high, you can pull your product based on alcohol percentage. You can try different flavors of kombucha. I've seen kombuchas that range in alcohol percentage from anywhere from 0.1% all the way up to 1.5%. The only difference being the flavor. So it's really important to know the alcohol content of your kombucha, especially in this case. This brand happens to be right at that line. In the US, the legal limit is 0.5%, so technically this is over. Um, so that's a little bit sketchy, and I did leave it out at room temperature for a day, so maybe that's the reason. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt here. But I highly recommend having something in-house so you can test as much as possible. But as you saw from that short little run, it took less than a minute to get a reading on the alcohol percentage in that product. And I'm ready to go for another sample already. So I could be testing, dozens of samples within an hour really, really easily. And, the more you can measure, the tighter your quality control and the more consistent your product is going to be. So I highly recommend getting one of these. I wish I had one of these when I was a brewer. So hopefully this video has helped you get started with your alcohol content detector. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.